Hello and welcome back. Today I'm going to be making a tier list of all of my favorite characters in Brotato. So don't expect this is to be the most powerful characters, the easiest way to win difficulty 5. No. These are the characters I like the most. I'm sure some of them are objectively powerful, because being powerful is fun. And I'm guessing that some of them aren't the best, but just have playstyles that I personally enjoy. So first up, I'm going to go into the 3 criteria that I'm using. Number 1, how likely am I to pick and play the character? This could be that the playstyle really appeals to me, I tend to win, winning after all is fun. Either of those, that's category 1. Criteria number 2. Is there anything about the character or the archetypes it supports that I severely dislike? A good example of this is Pacifist. I just hate not killing aliens. I'm playing Brotato to kill aliens. Yeah, I get it. It's a cool concept, not for me. Spoiler alert, Pacifist is going to be in a very low tier. But number 3, if I notice that I go well past wave 20 or quite consistently win on difficulty 5, then I'm probably going to rate the character a bit more highly. I know this kind of overlaps with category 1, but I wanted to keep wins a little bit separate, since technically win rate isn't necessarily the same as just playing the character a lot. So those are my 3 criteria, and also if you're a little bit confused as to what Brotato is, you've never encountered the game before, I have a full review which you can check out either now and then come back, or after you finish watching this. And if you disagree with any of my picks, well, sorry, these are the potatoes I like, and you probably can't change that. What you can do is make your own tier list. I'll link to the template down below. You can always share some of your favorites and some of the characters you dislike down in the comments. So without further ado, let's get into things, starting with Apprentice. Ooh, where do I put Apprentice? I haven't played Apprentice a ton, so definitely not up in S or A. But I have had some fun, at least on the runs that don't brick horribly, because I have this really bad habit on Apprentice where you lose health as you level up, and I get way too much damage in the early game, I don't get enough health, so I'm leaning towards B or C here. You know what? I'm going to go C. Now, I might change my mind later. Here's the thing. A lot of Apprentice runs are really meh for me, because I end up with like 6 health, I haven't been paying enough attention, and then I just die. But if I do pay attention, it goes pretty well, which I could see justifying a B rating, but we'll see. Maybe I'll change my mind later. Arms Dealer. Ooh, I had one good run on Arms Dealer, but I overall don't like the playstyle. One of the coolest things in Brotato to me is collecting all the legendary tier 4 weapons. On one hand, Arms Dealer has a unique playstyle where you can buy weapons from the shop at a vastly reduced price. On the other hand, they go away at the end of a round. So you only get them for 1 round, so even if you get something cool, you're not going to keep it for long. I'd rather make and keep the cool builds. Then we've got Artificer. I like Artificer. I like explosion weapons. I especially like the nuke launcher. But I wouldn't say he's necessarily my favorite, because I've actually had more fun with nuke launcher builds on other characters, even though they do work very well on him. So I'm going to go in A. Not one of my favorites, definitely a potato I like, definitely someone that I've gotten quite a lot of wins on. Then we have Brawler. Funnily enough, I would have actually put Brawler in D tier initially, because my first experience was not good. But then, Brawler was also my first difficulty 5 win, because I realized the power of a fist, and I also unlocked even better fists. So with that, I'd think A. However, I'm going to kind of average it out and settle to B, because despite liking Brawler, and despite liking the fist playstyle, I'm not going to play Brawler all the time. So, he's okay. Pretty fun. I do like the playstyle. Maybe I should change like to... There we go. Bull. I wanted to like Bull. Bull has a cool concept. Whenever Bull takes damage, Bull explodes. Problem is, enemies start to hit very, very hard, and the item that makes you explode because you take damage, kind of hit or miss. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. So I'm gonna go with okay. On good runs, I have fun with Bull. On bad runs, I don't really have fun because I'm like, I wish I rolled that item that enabled my entire build and didn't require enemies to hit me, because then I get hit in later waves that just lose 3/4 of my health. Next we have Chunky, who I don't have any strong feelings about, so C tier for Chunky. And Crazy. Crazy's fun, especially if you go full edgelord and you play with Shuriken. So I'm thinking A or B. I guess I don't play Crazy all that often. I do enjoy Crazy when I play. That's the thing. Never date Crazy, but definitely play with Crazy. Then we have Cryptid. I've only played Cryptid once. I unlocked Cryptid. I then played Cryptid and found the whole keep the trees alive thing rather frustrating, which I kind of feel for a lot of the more mini-gamey characters. Yes, I get it. They completely change up the gameplay loop. It's something different. It's interesting. I can see why Cryptid might appeal to you, but for me personally, I'm going to avoid that and stick to the killing alien stuff. Mostly just that I couldn't get my weapon range low enough that I didn't accidentally kill trees, while also playing a lot of ranged weapons, which I do tend to favor overall as opposed to melee weapons. Then we have Cyborg, who I want to like, but I don't. Mostly because there's a really weird changeover. Cyborg has this cool thing where you start with a minigun, which is awesome because miniguns are awesome, and then you stack range damage, and the range damage becomes engineering. Problem with this is you're not quite a full range build because you'll lose all your range damage halfway through, and you're not really a full turret build if you're taking damage increases that normally apply to your range damage. You're not scaling your engineering. Some of the engineering scaling also doesn't scale range. I don't know, it's just awkward, and ultimately I end up dying way too early. Demon. See, I'm bad at Demon, but I do like Demon. So I'm thinking B tier. I don't think I played Demon quite enough for A, especially since I haven't beaten difficulty 5 on Demon yet. I'm gonna go B. Cool playstyle. On Demon, you get extra health based on your materials at the end of a wave, and instead of spending materials for things in the shop, you spend health. So you have to go through this balance of keeping a pool of money. If you can get piggy bank early, it is GG. Using that to gain more health, which you use to buy items, which you use to gain more health, which you use to buy more items. If you can get any of the health increase items like padding or bottomless stomach, then it's over, you have won. And if you do what I do sometimes and buy that shiny that you really shouldn't and end up with 16 health, then you die and that's the end of your run. Doctor. Doctor's okay. Medical weapons are cool. They definitely feel quite strong, but I also think other archetypes are more interesting. Probably just a me thing. I'm going to put Doctor in, is it C or D? Nah, I don't think Doctor quite deserves D, because D is where I'm starting to like actively not play the character. I don't not play Doctor, I just don't go out of my way to play Doctor. So C tier's fine. Then we have Engineer, which you can use to make fun turret nests. And Engineer is gonna go, ooh. I feel like I don't necessarily play Engineer as much as I should, so maybe A is too high. But I also quite like Engineer when I do play, so B might be too low. We're gonna go A for now. Might change that later. Engineer's a fun playstyle, though single target damage definitely feels rough. Entrepreneur. Haven't played Entrepreneur too much. Didn't particularly enjoy the first game with Entrepreneur, so I'm tempted to say D, but at the same time, I think I maybe just haven't given this rather unusual playstyle and rather unusual potato a shot, so we're gonna go C. I think Entrepreneur's okay, and I have to give him a better chance in the future. Explorer, instant A tier. Kind of hard to play. I haven't won often on Explorer, but having all the extra trees spawn, all the extra areas, really, really, really fun. Think about it this way. Brotato is about killing hordes of aliens. Explorer means bigger area, more aliens, thus more fun. Also, Explorer is quite versatile in terms of playstyles. You can go melee, you can go range, you can probably even go engineering. Next up, Farmer. Farmer's just a little weird to me, where you have to focus super hard on harvesting early, then he gets all the money. I don't quite like that, but I don't actively dislike it, so we're going C tier. Farmer's okay. I actually think Farmer has a lot of potential and should be super strong, but the early game isn't the most fun to me. Should probably play Farmer more, might even get bumped up to B tier if I do. Fisherman, meh. The gimmick of being able to fish to get extra damage and add more aliens really just kind of ends in me over calculating my damage and dying immediately. So we're gonna go D tier. I've tried Fisherman a couple times, haven't gotten that far, haven't had that much fun. Generalist. Generalist is the same kind of boat here. His whole gimmick is you can use 3 ranged weapons and only 3 ranged weapons and 3 melee weapons and only 3 melee weapons, but your range damage scales your melee and your melee scales your range. In theory, it's super cool and powerful and easy to scale and all those fun things. In practice, Getting weapons with the same tags, there really aren't that many ranged and melee weapons with the same tags and similar scaling. So I ultimately found like my builds didn't work the way I wanted them to. I'm gonna go with D tier for that. Ghost, it's not that I dislike the ethereal weapons, it's that I dislike that Ghost takes extra damage, which leads to me just falling over. Yeah, you can get 90% chance to dodge, but you know what? I'm just not that good at dodging aliens. I'm gonna get hit, and when I get hit, I take so much damage that I die. So I actively avoid playing Ghost. Besides, there's another character, which I'll talk about later, that has kind of the same, I won't say power fantasy, but the same playstyle, and is a lot more fun to me. Next we have Gladiator, who's a pretty fun melee character. The thing about Gladiator is you get all sorts of different weapons, so it can be a little bit hard to get the weapons that you want. But it can also mean that you get a lot of high-end weapons, like you can combine a Scythe, which is an ethereal type, with, let's say, Excalibur, that's a medieval precise. I think maybe just medieval. Don't quote me on that. So, because Gladiator pushes me to try all sorts of different weapons, I've had a lot of fun, and I've made some pretty crazy builds. Next up, Glutton. Gonna go D tier here. Glutton's whole gimmick is you eat stuff and then you explode, which is, I guess, cool, but Glutton's item lets you do that on any character, and I'd rather just do that on Artificer, because Artificer's pretty sweet. So Glutton into D tier. Fine for unlocking an item, otherwise I'll give him a pass. Not gonna give Golem a pass though. Golem's really fun. On Golem you can't heal, but you get this massive health pool, and you get bonus damage for getting to half health. So you'll go through, take a little bit of damage here and there, chips away at you, and get super powerful and absolutely obliterate all the elites. I've had some really good runs on Golem, definitely have a lot of fun on Golem, so this is the first S tier. Then we have Hunter, who is also just okay. I think I'm gonna go with okay. The problem with Hunter is it's really hard to use range to scale your weapons directly. So you stack a bunch of range, kind of shoot things off the edge of a screen. Really, the problem is that there's another character that does this whole thing better. Next, we have Jack, who I actively avoid. Jack could be really strong. The problem for me is there's just so few aliens on the screen. It gets kind of boring. If more aliens equals more fun, less aliens equals less fun, so I'll give a pass to Jack. King, on the other hand, is another S tier. King's whole gimmick, he gets penalties for low tier items and bonuses for tier 4 items. Tier 4 items are awesome, so I try to get as many as possible, and that makes King awesome. I've had some absolutely insane runs here. Really fun character, and can make a lot of weapons which otherwise wouldn't be that good. Very useful because he has insane cracked attack speed. Gladiator also has insane cracked attack speed for melee weapons, by the way. So both are very fun characters, but King wins out because he can do both melee, range, he can do it all. Next we have Knight, the medieval weapon specialist, who actually grew on me quite a bit. So I'm gonna go, do I go A tier? Nah, I'm gonna go B tier. I think Knight is a solid B tier potato. Basically, grab some medieval weapons, stack up some armor, you get a lot of defenses, which makes you super tanky. You can actually take hits from the elites, especially if you have good recovery. And then you ride around smacking things. Get shields for even more damage from your defense. Actually, Knight's probably not the best character for shields because they scale off of armor and you get melee damage per armor on Knight. So you're better off with things like swords, the things that Knights actually used, or lances, the things that Knights actually used. Next up, Lich. Lich's gimmick is one that I actually talked about earlier, where on Bull, you wanted an item that damaged you because you exploded. I think Lich does it the better way, which is he does extra damage when he heals. Same kind of playstyle where you still want to take damage from something, but because you're able to heal up and then do extra damage for healing up, it just feels a lot more rewarding to me. So I'm going to put Lich in B tier. Then Loud, I've had some of the craziest runs on Loud. Loud goes straight into S tier, because Loud means more enemies. More enemies equals more fun. I actually got to wave 40 on Loud. It was super awesome. Next up we have Lucky, who's going to go in B tier. I like the luck stat since it gives me more higher rarity items. Many of the tier 3 weapons like the nuke launcher or the tier 4 weapons like the chain gun are super fun to play with. So the higher luck you have, the faster you're going to get offered those in the shop. Kind of, sort of. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but that feels outside the scope of this video. Next up, we've got the Mage, who I kind of slept on at first. I'll admit I was like, what's this elemental damage guy do? Then I had a couple of awesome wins, so I'm going to put him in B tier. I should maybe even play him more. I kind of feel like he almost should go in A tier. We're going to go B for now. He is the elemental damage weapon specialist and can be used for pretty much anything that has elemental scaling or can be used to inflict a burn. Then we have Masochist, which I only played Masochist once. I don't remember much of it. It was such a painful experience, I wiped it from my memory. F tier, Avoid. Then Multitasker. Multitasker is very fun because you get to do 12 weapons instead of the usual 6. There are some penalties involved to keep you from being super overpowered. You have to kind of build the weapons up slowly, but getting to use 12 weapons is really fun. Remember, the most fun thing in Brotato, awesome builds. Twice the weapons, twice the build potential. I would say that Multitasker is a little bit harder to build though. There are definitely times where I tank my damage too quickly and don't have enough bonuses to offset the penalties and get absolutely destroyed. Mutant. I haven't played Mutant a ton, but I'll admit it went pretty well when I did play him. Still thinking to go C though, just because I haven't had too much desire to keep playing Mutant. He's okay though. You get a bunch of extra bonuses, you level up faster. Yeah. Old. Where do I put Old? That's a hard one, because you'd think less aliens, less fun, but then smaller area equals more aliens per square inch equals more fun. Haven't played Old a ton. I don't think he's quite A tier. I'm going to go B. I like Old. Maybe it's because I am old. Next we have One-Armed. I've tried to like One-Armed. I really have. The problem with One-Armed is you only get one weapon. So you really have to go all in on that one weapon and do as much damage as possible, as much clear as possible. And the only reason I'm not putting One-Armed in F tier is because I think I'm still going to try to play the character and still try to make it work. But man, that is a struggle boss. I don't know. Either One-Armed is super weak or I'm super bad at building him. Then there's Pacifist. F tier. Least pleasant character to beat the game on normal. I did eventually figure out the gimmick. I realized it was stop trying to force it, stop trying to overcome a damage penalty, and just dodge the aliens. Which isn't that fun to me. So, F tier, Avoid. Then we have Ranger, who is kind of Hunter but better, but also doesn't necessarily get a higher rank, because with the health penalty, a lot of my runs end early. And I feel like other characters with more generic scaling, like Demon or Old or Knight or King or Loud or Golem, you could do a lot of the same builds, but it's a lot easier to get defenses. And surprisingly, when it's easier to get defenses, your damage just kind of comes naturally a lot of the time. But I'm going to go C tier, just okay, because those early losses do feel pretty bad when I forget that I have a 33% health penalty. Renegade. Man, what do I do with Renegade? Renegade's another character that comes with a massive damage penalty that's hard to overcome, but a cool gimmick of extra projectiles. I want to like Renegade, but I haven't really won very much with Renegade, so I think we have to go C tier. Yeah, let's go C tier. Cool concept, hard to play, or maybe just bad. Then we have Saver, where you're not supposed to spend your money. Straight into D tier, I want to spend my money. Sick, did not like Sick. I think that Lich does Sick, but more interesting. Also, Bull does Sick, but more interesting. So I'm going to go straight into F tier. Oh, even Doctor does Sick, but more interesting. Next, we have Soldier, where you have to play this little standstill minigame. You know, I'm going to put Soldier in B tier. I like Soldier. Not very good at Soldier. You have to do these little micro stutter steps to get off your damage, because you can only attack while standing still, but you get a ton of bonuses while standing still. There's also fun items, which give you even more bonuses while standing still. So, B tier, fun playstyle. Speedy. Gotta go fast? Yeah, Speedy, I play a lot. Now, if you hold still, you get negative 100 armor, get absolutely destroyed, but as long as you keep moving, and as long as you have enough movement speed, you get damage from movement speed, which makes Speedy super easy to scale and super fun. And at least from my experience, you can still get pretty good defenses. It's not like, say, Ghost, where you're just stuck being a glass cannon. Not the most defensive character, but, not the squishiest either. Then we have Streamer, another hard-to-play character who... Oh, between B and C, it's so hard. Because I kind of want to say C tier just because I haven't had much success with Streamer. But I kind of want to say B tier. I'm going to say C tier. Basically, you get extra money for staying still, but you get penalties for holding on to money. It's the standard story. When you're a small content creator, everyone loves you because you're the underdog and you're making basically negative money per hour. You could probably make more working in a minimum wage job, at least in the United States. Then when you're a big streamer, everyone hates you because you're rich, you're out of touch, all that stuff that I don't think I'll ever know about. To be honest, I don't think I'm ever going to have that much money. And so yeah, going to go C tier. Then Wildling, which Mighty Stick, go bonk. Wildling is fun. Surprisingly simple character to play, very beginner friendly. Going to go B tier. Then last up we have the final potato, well-rounded, who, if anything, can be accused of being boring, where you get a few basic generic bonuses, but you also get to experiment with a lot of builds. So I'm gonna go with B tier. Again, another potato that I like. And that's my full Brotato tier list. At the top, Golem, King, and Loud, those are my favorites, at least right now, as I play the game more. Who knows? I could see any of the potatoes in A tier moving up to S tier eventually. I could maybe even see with some practice the potatoes in B tier moving up into S tier, especially some of the harder to play ones like Soldier, that if I get good at Soldier, who knows? Maybe I'll think he's an S tier. At the same time, there's a bunch of potatoes down here that are just okay, that I don't really like, haven't had fun with, and that I'll probably actively avoid. The ones I'm actively avoiding, I don't think will move up, just because if I don't play them, I can't change my mind on them. These, maybe. I'll play them, I'll see. But remember, this is just the potatoes that I like, based on my own personal fun playing them. So I'm curious about some of your favorite and most disliked potatoes. Leave those down below. Also, let me know if you want to see a tier list of my favorite weapons or my favorite items. Then be sure to get subscribed so you don't miss those videos when they come out. And hey, be sure to leave a like since you obviously like the video if you've watched for this long. Or you may be just a really dedicated hate watcher. I don't know your life. But I know who isn't a hate watcher, my patrons and channel members, because their support helps make more videos like this possible. Or maybe they just really love to hate stuff. So if you want to help out with that and you enjoyed the video, link is down below. So with that, I hope you enjoyed my Brotato tier list, and I'll see you in the next one.